First thing I do is I go into this compartment right here and I turn on the switch, and that switch turns on all the electronics. So you see the autopilot's on, got my navionics on and working. And that'll be our route for today. It's a pretty decent route and we've got a lot of current. So when we get to right through here, there's gonna be a lot of current. So we're gonna get it kind of an early morning start here to get through that current. We fire up the radar here, and I gotta push that. And this, and coming into this marina last night, it was tight. So that's what I want to kind of show you. There's no really room for error. And last night I had to pull this thing in 70-mile-an-hour winds. So, or no, not 70. It was about 30-mile-an-hour winds. But you can see the marina right here, and it's tight back there. I mean, there's barely enough room to turn around. So we'll get the spooled up here, get the engines fired up, and we're gonna get this thing going here. We've undone our power cords already. Now we're just undoing the lines. Pete is right now, and we will be departing here. All right, Chief, you ready?
Yeah.
All right, you gonna spool it up?
Yeah.
So we have to start our engines from down below. So Pete will actually start the engines here. And then I control it from up on top here. All right, so our engines are fired. I don't do any quick maneuvering or anything until these engines are warmed up. But I will pull it out of the marina here, just nice and slow on a very slow idle. So you guys can see Pete down here undoing the lines. Chief, wave to everybody.
Hey guys. Morning.
So he'll undo the lines for us. So cool stop. We got laundry done. Look at this facility. It's just massive. Jefferson Marina.
Okay, everything's clear.
So all the lines are off the boat. Camera set here. And we'll see what happens. All right, we ready? Chief,
Yeah, we're ready.
are you on the boat?
No, not yet, but I'll jump on it.
All right, I'm going into reverse. Ready?
Yeah.
You're on the boat, right?
Yeah, I'm on the boat.
All right, let me know when my nose is clear. Now, yesterday when we got here, I checked all the fluids, the transmission fluid, the engine fluids. Babe, you got the back?
Yep. Got about 15 feet.
All right, I'm gonna start my turn. One engine forward, one engine reverse.
Don't have much room.
Give this, giving the port engine a little gas. We all right? We clear?
Looking good. Looking good.
And there is no room in here. Where am I at on the back? forward engine's in forward. This engine's in neutral now. Now I'm going to go forward and totally lock my keel over.
You know where to turn?
Yeah, I got it.
Okay.
So you really don't want to get this boat in too much of maneuvering. You really don't. We're lucky with 0 wind this morning. Last night when we were coming in, somebody on the fuel dock hit the Princess boat here. I'll show it to you here in a second. Chief,
Yeah.
get that line secure and get up here. I mean, when you get into some of these marinas, this boat's, it's 50 foot overall. There was probably 75 feet across there, maybe 80, but that's it. And everything looks twice as tight when you're on the boat. Beautiful sunrise, look at that. Oh my God. We'll see it here in a second. So right now we go from no engines, and Pete's going to take over here because I want to show you a couple things coming into this marina.
We go out this way, right?
Yep. Look at that sunrise. Is that unbelievable? Look how beautiful that is. So yesterday when we were at the fuel dock, one of these big boats here got hit. It was that one right there. A guy hit the window down there. Yeah. We've had a little practice now, Mark. Hey, make sure you guys hit that like button, leave a comment.
Mark on this morning?
Yeah, he's on.
I'll say hi.
Good morning, Mark. How you doing? Okay, see that? See how that window's taped off right there? That boat got hit yesterday, and it was tight in here, man. There was boats everywhere. The wind was blowing 30 knots, and I had to turn this thing around, and it was about as bad as it gets. But you can see right here, that boat right there, that window got taken out right there. So Chief's at the helm. And that's the fuel dock right there. That's what we had to pull onto yesterday. But again, there was 30-mile-an-hour winds. There was boats everywhere, just everywhere. You can see how tight it gets in some of these marinas, especially when you're trying to deal with a 50-foot long boat. So you can see we're leaving a safe harbor, Jefferson Marina. Look at that sunrise, holy. Just beautiful. They call this the quarter mile, I can't remember it.
No, the mile, I think it's called.
Yeah, the 1 mile, and there's just boats everywhere. There's just boats and marinas everywhere. Man, look at this beautiful sunrise. So we'll go live again. We're gonna go across Lake St. Clair here. And then once we get into the canal, or not the canal, the river, the St. Clair River, I believe it's called, we will, I'll go live again once we get up into that. Big charter boats here. It was rough yesterday. It's been rough. This whole last week, it's just been rough. Today was hot. It was hot and humid. I had to run both air conditioners last night. So leaving Jefferson Marina and heading to Lexington. Now we won't spool our engines all the way up until they're warmed up, but right now, you know, we'll take them up to, you know, around 1200 RPMs. Chiefs, I like it. Look at that sunrise. Oh my God. Yeah, you know you got to go back around that marker. Just beautiful.
This way anyway, right?
Yeah. Something we haven't seen in probably a good solid week. Well, ever since we got on Lake Erie, we've never had any smooth water. None, period. It's always been rough. So good morning, Paul, Beverly, Pete from Southern Comfort. Oh, I got it wrong. Southern Estate. I couldn't get the name right if I wanted to. Yeah, is that just absolutely beautiful? Unbelievable sunrise. Just the perfect amount of clouds. Chief, I hope you're getting a picture of that sunrise because I can't do it while I'm going live. Chief, they're everywhere. Oh, look at the ducks. Don't run them over, Chief.
They gotta learn.
Look at the little baby ducks. See what you can just see here. It's marina after marina after marina. I can't remember. I didn't even ask how many marinas there are here, but there's a lot. You got a lot of inexperienced boaters right now. And, you know, pulling into the marinas isn't always the best thing. But it wasn't bad here. It was $1.50 a foot, so it's not horrible. We like those marinas. A lot of Sea Rays, a lot of cruisers. So right now you can't see it, but there's a shallow spot out here, and we just got to stay away from that. We've got to clear that. There's a buoy marker out there marking it, and so we got to go up and around that shallow. Little baby ducks. Chief, you want to just take them around and go check all the lines while
Yeah, I can.
All right, so Paul's gonna finish taking us out, and I'm gonna go down here and show you what normally I would do. And of course, Beverly is helping us too. She usually handles the rear lines. And one of the critical things on a boat like this is make sure you don't have a line hanging in the water. So you go back, see the lines here, secured here, and there's nothing swinging in the water because your props can get, so when you get started out in the morning, you just make sure all your lines are secure. Come up here, so it takes a few minutes. A boat like this, make sure nothing dragging. And when Mark was helping me, the friend that came down one morning, I came down and inspect the lines, and I had a line dragging in the water. Lucky we didn't get it caught in the prop. So it's good to do a double check, make sure all your lines are up and secure, and you don't want to be dragging buoys. But most of these places that we stay, we don't need our buoys because they have posts. And it's good just to do a safety inspection. Look at how the bugs get on the boat. We rinse it off about every three days. Just checking the lines here. Make sure everything's clear. Get you a view of the the sunrise this morning out on the front of the boat.
Walk back up here because I'm going to set the autopilot. That'll be the end of it.
Okay. All right, look at that. So now it looks like we're going there's Paul's view in the morning, or whoever's driving the boat. The cool thing I watch a lot of these YouTube channels, and none of them are live. So that's one thing I like about what Paul's doing on this one, is we're in real time. So we don't you know exactly where we are that day, not 3 weeks or a month from. There's the American flag. There's the back end. We're still not spooled up yet. I'm back up. Takes a while for those diesels to get warmed up. All right, coming in. Just call me Spielberg. Okay, so after the engines are all warmed up, and we can tell here by just looking at the gauges here, we got 180 degrees and 180 degrees. I line up my chart for the day, so this will be our first hit. And once these two lines meet each other, then I just push the autopilot button. There's the autopilot right there. So we'll hit this, and then it's time to make breakfast. Eat. Except for on a rough day, which they've all been. Yeah, it's a little different. Yeah, today's been the smoothest day. Supposedly we're going to have some really smooth days. You can see this line right here. I'm trying to get it lined up. It's getting me fits a little bit. Okay, so you see it lined up right there. Now I'm just going to hit auto. Now Squeaky's got it, and me and Pete call it Squeaky. It just squeaks all day long. There you go. Right there. So Squeaky's fired up. Somebody gave you a message. All right. So that's pretty much our morning routine, guys. We're fired up right now. You see the beautiful sunrise. We're not spooled up yet, but we don't. Yeah, I haven't spooled up the engines yet, but I will spool them up now because I'm at temperature. And we'd like to run about 1,700 RPMs. And there's a couple things about this boat that we do. A couple things about this boat that we do is we have a synchro on our engines. So you can see right now our speed's going to increase here. We should get up to around 9 miles an hour, 9.5 miles an hour. We're pretty much in. Early morning fishermen going across the lake there. Man, that is a beautiful sunrise. Oh my God. Yeah, so I'm at 9.5 miles an hour, so I'm right there where I should be. Now I hit this switch right here. And this will tell me if my engines are synced. So you can see that red light on. That means I have to give the starboard engine a little more gas. Or I could back off the port engine a little bit. And you see that green light comes on? And you can also hear it in the engines. They just start humming. And then we just shut that off. And we are good to go. This will be our cruise speed today at 9.6 miles an hour. I have several ways of checking my knots, how many knots I'm doing. I do use the Garmin for that, and you can see we're doing 8.3 knots, which is pretty much our cruise speed on this boat. So that's it. We are off and running, and it'll you can actually, I can see it's such a beautiful day. I can actually see the shoreline right up. Oops, you guys can't see it. It's just the shoreline right up there. So the visibility today is incredible. Now, if I wanted to check that distance too, and also now I've got to see how my two lines aren't lined up perfectly here. So I'll make an adjustment on squeaky here, and I'll just go maybe 1 or 2 degrees over. And we'll try and get that line lined up perfectly right there. So I just gave her 2 clicks over to starboard. You can see it slowly coming over. There she goes. She's almost lined up perfectly right now. All right. So that's pretty much it. Autopilot engaged. Squeaky's on.
And in the Great Lakes, we don't have a lot of stress or worry about lines and all kinds of stuff.
Well, there is nets, fishing nets in here, but again, I'll tell you this, I got to do a video about this because local knowledge is everything. Like, we had a guy on the boat last night till, I don't know, what it was, 7 o'clock. He came over and just went over our whole route, our whole next couple of days, because he's run these waters. He knows these waters. That's the same thing we did yesterday at the other place. A group of people came over, introduced themselves. Next thing you know, we had them on the boat. We're looking at the charts and asking them all. And we wouldn't have left yesterday without local knowledge. And we rarely do anything without local knowledge because you cannot beat the locals. You just can't beat them. It's impossible to beat the locals. You take a guy that's been boating in the area that you're going to for 5, 10, 20 years. You can't beat that. There's no way. Anyway, I'll do a video about that because that's important. Local knowledge is everything. All right, you can see Squeaky here is lined up almost perfectly. We'll just leave her alone for now because she's doing really, really good. Anyway, that's it. That's our early morning departure. Bev will go ahead and cook breakfast in this in probably about an hour. And we'll see you guys when we get over to the river, St. Clair River. So you say there's a lot of current, and it's one of the busiest. It's one of the busiest waterways in the world. That's what we're told. That's what we read anyway. All right, we'll see you guys in about probably about an hour and a half. Good morning. Have a nice day. Thanks, Mark. We appreciate it.
What'd Mark say?
Chiefs.